flying over the dense and mysterious Amazon rainforest. A young woman named Justine is returning home with her friends, but their journey suddenly takes a terrifying turn. An unknown force strikes the plane, causing it to lose control completely, and within moments it begins plummeting from the sky. Terrified passengers scream, and the plane begins to break into pieces during the horrific crash. Some passengers in the back are thrown from their seats, while others are severely injured inside. Ultimately, the plane crashes with a powerful impact in the dense Amazon rainforest. Sharp tree branches lacerate the pilot's body, killing several others on the spot. Those who survive eject in fear and shock. But tragedy continues to haunt them as one student's head is caught in a rotating fan and severed. In the chaos, their GPS tracker is lost and their mobile phones are useless because there is no signal, completely cutting them off from the outside world. Furthermore, the person who knew the area the most is dead. Now they're all trapped in the dangerous and uncharted Amazon jungle where death lurks at every step. Suddenly, Harvey hears strange and terrifying voices from the depths of the jungle. Upon closer listening, he realizes they are the voices of the indigenous people living there. Harvey believes that if the indigenous people help them, they can reach their camp via the river and via the mission find a way to escape. But this hope quickly turns into a nightmare as the indigenous people, who don't understand a single word of their language, attack them. Harvey's girlfriend dies in this attack, and everyone else is rendered unconscious by a poisonous scald. Sometime later, when Justine regains consciousness, she finds herself tied to a wooden boat. In fear and panic, she tries to untie the ropes. But then, a black-painted tribe with a fierce and ruthless appearance shouts at her. Slowly, the boat reaches shore where all the tribesmen, from young children to the elderly, have their bodies smeared with red paint. Upon reaching the tribal village, the entire tribe surrounds the captured students, touching and staring at them in strange ways as if they've never seen such people before. But real fear grips them when they see human skeletons hanging from trees, skulls strung from bamboo poles, and bones scattered everywhere, making it clear that this is a dangerous, cannibalistic tribe. Just then, an old woman, the leader of the entire tribe, emerges, leaning on a stick. At the sound of her stick, the entire tribe suddenly falls silent. She slowly approaches each student, observing them carefully. Then she says something in her own language which no one understands, and everyone looks at each other in fear. After this, they are forcibly taken and locked in a dirty pig cage where the tribesmen standing outside stare at them like butchers do before slaughtering animals. One of the fat boys is the most unfortunate, separated from the rest. He cries out in panic, but no one hears him. Then a woman approaches him and forcibly makes him drink a strange liquid that causes his body to go numb. Immediately, he is laid down on a large rock, and as soon as he regains consciousness, several powerful tribesmen grab his hands and feet. He is completely helpless. After this, the tribe leader slowly comes to stand in front of the fat boy. Then, suddenly, with a sharp knife in her hand, she gouges out his eyes in one stroke and begins eating them without any emotion. The other students are horrified by this sight. But this was just the beginning, as she then cuts out his tongue and eats it. Then, a black-painted butcher steps forward and begins mercilessly severing his limbs with a large knife. The fat boy writhes in pain, but no one helps him, and within moments, his body is reduced to pieces. The entire scene is so horrifying that all the students are stunned. After this, the tribals begin preparing his corpse for consumption. They carefully separate each part of the body, then, after applying a special ointment to his torso, they place it in an earthen furnace. The smell of the slowly roasting meat spreads throughout the village, and even small children salivate greedily at the sight. Meanwhile, Justine and his companions witness all this unfold before their eyes. Surprisingly, instead of panicking like everyone else, Harvey appears calm and tries to find a signal on his phone to send a message for help. However, his efforts prove futile in the dense forest. Meanwhile, they see the tribe members sitting comfortably and eating a meal, a scene reminiscent of a typical human feast. The only difference is that the food served on their plates is human flesh. Although this tribe doesn't rely solely on humans, they also raise pigs and cows, in-laws. However, on special occasions, they capture and imprison humans, including them when necessary. The students locked in cages are worse than animals having to eat and fulfill all their needs there. Night falls and the entire village is plunged into darkness as there is no electricity, only a few burning fires provide light. Sensing an opportunity, the students slowly begin to plan their escape. The bearded man suggests that if they find their GPS tracker, they can contact the outside world and perhaps help will arrive. But Harvey interrupts him, saying that it's pointless because the tribesmen are watching everywhere, and as soon as they finish their previous victims' meat, they'll be next. Hearing this, Justine explodes with anger, believing that Harvey is the root of this entire ordeal, having led them here. But with this courage, one girl slowly climbs to the roof of the cage and tries to escape. Just then, the tribesman on guard becomes alert and, without wasting a moment, shoots her with a stun arrow, knocking her unconscious, shattering everyone else's hopes. The next morning, Justine awakens to find a young tribal boy sitting next to her, his eyes fixed on the whistle necklace around her neck. Justine realizes this might be an opportunity, and she quietly blows the whistle to try to make friends. But her plan backfires as Kawa the butcher arrives with his companions, furious, and drags all the girls out of the cage to the same eerie spot where the fat boy was killed. Iswatios killed. There, the old tribe leader strips them and examines them, one by one, as if deciding who will be the next victim. After a while, she returns 2 girls to the cage. But Justine is taken away, further terrifying everyone else. Suddenly, the weather changes and heavy rain pours down. Except for the guards, all the other tribesmen hide in their huts. In the chaos, a girl trapped inside the cage gets a chance to escape. A boy cleverly distracts the guard by playing his phone ringtone, and as soon as she has the chance, she quickly climbs up the cage and escapes. Escapes. Being a college athlete, she runs fast, even on slippery ground. While running, she spots a wooden boat on the riverbank and, without delay, runs straight towards it. She quickly jumps into the boat and escapes to save herself. Later, after the rain stops, the tribesmen drag Justine back into the cage, too. However, although she doesn't suffer any serious injuries, her entire body and face are smeared with a strange red and white paint, leaving her companions completely confused as to why this is happening. Then their eyes fall on a tribal girl with a red and white potha, a color that is painted red and white, and seeing her condition, everyone slowly begins to understand the truth. Justine is now being prepared for a special ritual in the tribe. In fact, the tribesmen were going to marry her to make her a part of their clan. Justine's realization sends the ground tumbling from under her feet. But then Harvey makes a strange remark, saying that he should consider himself lucky because the people they marry live longer than the other prisoners, so yeah. Hearing this, the bearded man angrily tells him to shut up and encourages Justine that they will definitely get out of here. Meanwhile, some tribesmen approach the cage with food and force the prisoners to eat it. Justine's eyes fall on the same little tribal boy, and this time she whistles again. The boy listens intently. But Harvey mocks him, saying it's useless, and then he mindlessly begins eating the food in the bowl. A blonde-haired girl sitting nearby hesitates at first because she's a vegetarian. But her hunger is so intense that she, too, begins to eat the human flesh with trembling hands. After the meal is finished, the girl looks at the tattoo inside the bowl and immediately realizes that the meat she was eating was her friend who had escaped some time ago. This truth was so horrifying that her mind couldn't bear it. In shock, she immediately broke the bowl and slit her throat with a piece of it. Within moments, she stopped breathing, leaving the others in the cage stunned. They knew then that if they didn't act, they would be next. So they devised a dangerous plan. They secretly pried open the dead girl's mouth and, using a stick, stuffed narcotic leaves down her throat so that when the tribals ate her flesh, the entire tribe would become intoxicated, giving them a chance to escape. Shortly after, the same Kawa butcher arrived and, without emotion, began dismembering the girl's body. He then lifted the body parts and threw them into the same earthen furnace where so many people had been cooked before. The meat slowly began to cook, and its smell spread throughout the village. The tribals eagerly awaited the meal, and as soon as it was ready, they all pounced on it. But this time something different happens. After a few more bites, their gait begins to falter. Their eyes grow heavy, and one by one, they begin to fall under the influence of the drug. This was the opportunity Justine and the others had been waiting for. Justine immediately escapes the cage with the bearded boy and runs with all her might into the jungle. Just then, another boy tries to follow them. But to save his own life, Harvey knocks him unconscious, trying to draw the attention of the tribesmen and escape. It is clear that Harvey is now thinking only of himself and herself. Justine doesn't have time to stop, so she's forced to leave him there and move on. After a while, the boy who was left behind regains consciousness and sees two tribesmen standing in front of him, laughing hysterically under the influence of the drug. For a moment, he thinks he might be able to escape quietly. But then one of them suddenly grabs his hand and bites it with his teeth. He screams in pain and runs with all his might to save his life. But the other tribesmen nearby pounce on him, surrounding him in seconds. Everyone begins tearing his body apart like hungry animals attacking their prey. In the blink of an eye, his body is torn to pieces and his screams are silenced forever. Meanwhile, Justine and the bearded man run relentlessly along the riverbank, hoping that if they continue upstream, they might reach a rescue team. But while crossing the river, Justine slips and is swept away by the strong current. The bearded man, desperate to help him, runs alongside him along the riverbank, grabbing a tree branch and pulling him out. Both are utterly exhausted, but they resume their journey deeper into the forest eventually. Reaching the very spot where their plane crashed. But now the place has become even more terrifying as the bodies of those killed hang on bamboo poles, drying in the sun and wind, turning into food for cannibals. Without wasting any time, the bearded man runs straight to the plane wreckage, hoping to find help there. Finally, his luck runs out when he finds his GPS tracker among the debris, but his hopes are dashed as its battery is completely drained and useless. Just then, Justine hears a faint mobile ringtone. The two panickedly search the pockets of the bodies lying around, and finally, they find the phone in Harvey's girlfriend's pocket. Relief flashes across their faces for the first time. But just then, the tribals, searching for them like wild animals, arrive and capture them again. Despite their desperate escape, their escape seems impossible. After this, the tribal women seize Justine and begin preparing him for marriage. His body is painted with strange colors and decorated for rituals. Meanwhile, the bearded man is tied tightly to a wooden pole and then punished by the Kawa butcher. He breaks all his bones one by one, preventing him from moving. A sticky green mud with a sweet smell is then smeared all over his body, and within moments hundreds of ants begin crawling over his body, biting and ripping away his skin. The man screams in pain, but no one helps. Meanwhile, Justine is fully prepared, and an elderly woman from the tribe comes before him with a small knife in her hand to begin the horrific wedding ritual. Suddenly, loud screams are heard from outside. The tribe panics and the death ceremony is halted. Just then, a tribal man comes running into the village holding a severed head. Seeing this, everyone understands that outsiders have entered the forest. The chief then gave the order to go hunting without a moment's delay, and within minutes, the entire village was empty. Only the women, children, and the young tribal boy who had heard Justine's whistle earlier remained. Seeing the opportunity, he sneaked up to the cage and freed Justine. Justine began to run, but her heart refused, and she tried to free the bearded man as well. The man stopped her, telling her to grab the phone and run away immediately, as this was her last chance. But suddenly, the young boy knocked the bearded man unconscious and slit his throat. Seeing this, Justine was devastated, but there was no way she could stay. She immediately fled, even as the necklace in the cage kept calling out to her. But this time, Justine ignored her and left her to her fate. The young boy led Justine through the dangerous jungle paths, taking his small whistle necklace with him before leaving. But fate was still not leaving them. As Justine crossed the river, returning tribal members spotted him. Suddenly, a dangerous jaguar appeared, considered a sign from the gods by the tribesmen. Surprisingly, the jaguar didn't attack Justine, and taking it as a signal, the tribesmen stopped pursuing her. Somehow, Justine crossed the river and reached the other side. But the scene there stunned her. A fierce gunfight was raging between the rescue team and the cannibals, and the tribesmen were falling one by one in the face of their weapons. Seeing the dead tribesmen, Justine suddenly had a dangerous but effective idea. She immediately took out her phone and, unafraid, ran straight to the rescue team. She raised her hands, signaling that no one would mistake her for an enemy and shoot. She loudly declared that she wasn't one of the tribesmen, but a survivor. Seeing the phone in her hand, the team commander realized she must have been a prisoner. He immediately called her over and the soldiers ceased firing. For the first time in a long time, Justine felt safe. Before boarding the helicopter, a soldier asks her if anyone else is still alive. Justine is silent for a moment. The tragic deaths of all her friends flash before her eyes. But then hesitantly, she lies, saying that she is the only survivor and everyone else died in the plane crash. She is then safely evacuated and sent home, while Harvey is left forever among the cannibal tribe. Within days, Justine's story spreads worldwide and she becomes famous overnight. The media begins to portray her as a hero, but Justine hides a profound truth from the world. She never reveals that her friends were actually killed by the tribesmen. Instead, she fabricates a story that the tribesmen helped her and that without them, she would not have survived in the jungle. She does this so that the tribe's existence is not threatened and the world does not try to destroy them. But the story does not end there. One night while Justine is at home, she receives a call from Harvey's sister. She explains that a strange man has appeared in satellite images. His entire body is covered in black paint and his appearance is strikingly similar to Harvey. Hearing this, Justine is shocked, as it simply means that Harvey is alive but no longer human. He has become part of the same cannibalistic tribe, perhaps their new Kahlua butcher, and with that, the story ends. So friends, if you enjoyed this story, first of all, press the 2 hype options next to the comments to motivate us, and be sure to subscribe to the channel. So see you in the next